we'll go through some of the main events that comes up in this. We'll break down all the components of it, okay? We've got experience in this, so we know some of the stuff that a lot of people struggle with, some tips that often help us get it over the line, because number one thing that we struggle with in challenge is just finishing it, okay? So what are we going to do to be able to finish it? Because it's not always things go perfectly as planned. It's like, what do you do if you can't follow plan A? Let's think about plan B, okay? So we'll be going over that stuff. Anything you girls would like to add to what we're doing?
No, you gotta hit it on the head.
Okay, so let's, we'll break down, so basically a bit of a summary as to what the challenge is. I'll stop eating my jerky now. That choke. Basically, the challenge is the biggest transformation over 45 days. Not only going to win yourselves a dream body, but you're going to, win yourself a prize. Okay, so the idea is not just the physical transformation. A big part of this, which is often overlooked, is learning the habits and learning kind of new healthy lifestyle, which is going to translate into the rest of your life, okay? So what I want you guys to be thinking about throughout this whole experience is what you can take home from this, okay? What you're learning along the way. So being very mindful of the stuff that we're doing, okay? So when this is all done and you're not following this script, if I got to eat this, I got to eat this, I'm going to train this 3 times a week, okay? Can you still do what you've been doing, okay? So the way that we're going to have this is a little joint competition is we're obviously going to have a major winner amongst all 3 studios, okay? It's going to be $1,000 cash, and runner-up will be $500 cash, okay? So the person who wins it from my studio, which it will be, because we don't accept losers here, is going to give me some of that cash.
You're about to lose your membership.
We're also going to have, depends on how many people signed up for the challenge. We're going to work on like averages, but we'll do some, we'll do some group competitions between, so when we get that final results, we'll look at, the best average body weight loss or whatever for each of the studios, just to be a bit of friendly competition between, all the studios as a whole. Okay, so everyone contributing to make sure our studio does well compared to the other studios. Okay, no prizes in that, just bragging rights. Okay, so don't let me down. we don't have enough prizes for that. We'll give you
a little trophy.
Yeah, made out of chocolate.
Participation.
After COVID's over, we'll give you a hug.
And the boys will get you some beef jerky. All right, so let's go over some of the main things that we will be doing. Okay, so the official start for you guys is when you do your scans and your photos. All right, we still haven't confirmed. We can't get the scanner on Monday, Tuesday next week, which is kind of the official start. I think we'll be able to get it like Friday. Okay, so just bear with us when I find out exact dates. We're going to do the scans and photos at the same time. Okay, so what we're going to be doing with that, we'll have you guys organize when you're going to come in. Okay, so we'll have either a sign-up sheet. Okay, and then important stuff when it comes to your scans and photos, bra, underwear, whatever. Okay, I know you might feel uncomfortable doing it, but it's completely internal. We're going to make sure we cover off a space so no one can see it. All right, the only time it will go public is if you win or come second or whatever, and we ask your permission. Okay, but it's not going to go anywhere else. The reason why it is, like bra, underwear, minimal clothing, no shorts allowed, okay, no shirts or anything, is because how we're meant to identify a physical change. We can't see your body. All right, so it's purely for that. If you're not comfortable doing that, that's okay. I'm just saying you can't win unless you are doing that, because we can't compare you to other people who we can see their actual body. Okay.
They got to do certain color.
Sorry?
Black.
Oh, black?
Yeah.
Oh, and black as well. Okay. And the outfit you wear at the start will be the outfit that you wear at the end. Okay. Just so you've got something measurable. Unless you've lost so much weight and they don't fit on.
You can hold it up. We'll take 2 pictures of you.
Yeah. Same thing with your, the ideal scenario when you're doing your scans and everything, you want to do it at the same time on your starting one and your ending one, okay, purely for the consistency of the results, because a lot of it is based around how much fluid and everything's in your body. If you do it one time in the morning, when you're not carrying as much fluid, and then the other one you do in the evening, when you're probably drunk throughout the day, you're carrying a lot of fluid, well, then there's going to be a difference in that. Okay, so ideally you want to do it at the same time of the day, at the start and the end.
And also before your workout. It can kind of differ if you do it after the workout, because everything's kind of pumping through your body. So if you do it before the workout, that scan's going to come out different if you do it after. So try to do it before. That's when you're probably going to get the best results.
Yeah, so we'll have it. If we do have it on Friday when we're doing the playoffs, then we'll we'll make sure that we organise for you guys to come, say, like 15 minutes before your playoffs, scans, photos in it. Okay, you guys on the playoffs?
We are. So are you doing it for the mini challenge?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the playoffs is what we do at the start and the end of the challenge. It's not always a component of the challenge, but we like putting it at the start and the end to kind of see how you guys have then progressed in terms of your fitness levels. Okay, so not just how your body looks better, but how fit have you gotten. Okay, and we'll explain putting you guys into teams and having little mini challenges as well. That will be our first mini challenge, the playoffs. Okay, all right. Now we'll go into important events. All right, team delegation. So we, once we've got final numbers of everything, we're going to break you guys up in team. Our studio will have 2 teams, okay, each with a team captain. That's how you saying just 2 teams?
Not for Encinitas. Encinitas won't have teams. Oceanside will, but Encinitas.
Okay.
And Oceanside won't, Encinitas will. Words. There we go.
Yeah, Encinitas will have 3 teams. So for you guys there on Zoom, we'll have 3 broken up between 3 different trainers. And then Oceanside, Jesse's going to be.
I will be your team.
Your team. Team 1.
Team 1.
So the idea is one for the mini challenges, okay? So we can kind of see, compare everyone against each other. But each team will have a team coach, team captain. Okay, with our studio, it's going to be me and Weston. All right, so they're going to be your referral person, the person you're always asking questions. Okay, the person we'll talk about group team check-ins. Okay, so they'll be hosting your group team check-ins. And they'll put you in a group chat and we can communicate via that way. Okay, so they're your go-to person. We always advise asking as many questions as possible. The people who ask the most questions, they do the best because they know the most answers. Okay, if you keep it a big secret, I don't know what you're thinking. And I'm not going to go to each person individually, just say there's 15 people on my team. I'm not going to go, hey, how you feeling today? How you feeling today? Okay, so you guys, ask questions, let us know how you're feeling, all of that, so we can help you get to where you need to be, because that's what we want to do. We want you to do good. We don't want you to do bad. Okay, so no secrets.
Yeah, and that comes for anything. If you're feeling tired, you're like, I am way too hungry, like I'm not making it through my workouts, anything. Because there's something that we need to adjust to get you back on track. So,
and then we'll be doing check-ins weekly, right? You're going to be basically, you guys can ask any question. Send it to your group, and then we'll be doing Zoom calls.
Yes, so your team coach will organize a time with your team specifically, okay? Just whatever's appropriate for you guys. Say it might be Wednesday night, whatever, but we'll ask in the group chat what time works for everyone, okay? And then we'll have, a designated, say, 30-minute period. We'll jump on a Zoom call, all right? And so with that, the day prior, we ask that you submit any questions or any topics that you want to address. Okay, so when we do get towards to that Zoom call, we've got it all organized. It's not like we're just standing there talking and people asking the same question twice and it becomes messy. This is so you've had time to think about exactly what you want to hear about. And a lot of the times, a question that you might have might be something that you've been thinking, but you just didn't realize you were thinking. So when we answer it to one person, everyone's hearing it and everyone can pick up from that. Okay, so you ask it beforehand, and we won't be, responding to more stuff throughout that, just so, like I said, it doesn't get messy and then we're spinning around in circles. Okay. All right. So we'll go to the mini challenges now. We're going to have a few mini challenges along the way, pretty much like every, say, second week. Okay, we're going to have 3 mini challenges we're looking at. Right, and basically what this is. Benefits to doing this. We like doing it from the past, and when we've done this, it's really helpful there. It's good to set little personal challenges along the way, okay? So you don't drift off and you just kind of going 45 days flat. It's like every now and then we'll throw in a mini challenge. So it's like, hey, I'm going to focus on this week. It's going to be extra accountability. Gives you the opportunity to do a little bit extra on top of what you're already doing, okay? Get the mindset of doing more, not less, right? Building team morale, okay? So you guys can communicate with each other and be like, hey, who's slacking off today? Who's not going to make us win? All right, so yeah, roughly every second week, we're going to do a mini challenge, which will run for the whole week. We'll announce these prior as to what it's going to be, okay? So you know what to expect. But it'll be things like, attendance throughout the week, or, heart rate, or, do a steps challenge, stuff like that. Okay, so we'll send out an email every single week. And with that, your communication method with when we have to send out to everyone will be via email. And then the coaches, your team coach will also message it to you guys directly. All right. We'll also be doing a mid-challenge check-in. Okay. So we'll send out an email with, how you doing, anything that you need help with, blah, 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 blah. And then you respond back to, in our case, CC me as well as the team captain if you're not on my team, just so we can, help and see what we need to do to finish off the challenge well. Okay. All righty. Now let's go to the F45 challenge app. This is going to be your Bible throughout this. You can download it if you've got your phone with you, and then I'll kind of show you guys what to expect. I should have told you to download that first, actually.
Oh, yeah.
One thing about this, guys, if you've never logged into the F45 challenge app before, it's a brand new login, so you need to register. It's not going to be the same as what you've been logging into with the studio. So make sure you create an account if you have not ever logged into it.
And when you create an account, use the email that is associated with your account, okay? Because it syncs up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The only way to get in this is if you're a member, and it recognizes you as a member by your email. Okay. We'll go through it now. I'll point out some of the main stuff. So basically the components of it, there's a home page. So all the tabs are at the bottom. There's a home page. There's a train tab. There's an eat tab, a track, and a learn. Okay. The home will just be articles that they provide you with, as well as we'll give you links to those other ones, to the train and eat and track stuff. The train, basically you guys will obviously be doing your training with us, but what commonly happens is people might have to go away for a little bit, a week or whatever. Okay. You don't want that to interrupt your challenge. Okay. So it's got a whole range of home workouts for you. So body weight home workouts, weighted home workouts, recovery workouts. So you guys can always stay on top of it, whether you've got access to us or not. Okay. So that's going to be very valuable there. The eat component, this is a very important part. Okay. So the meal planning, right? We'll break that down. I'll break that down a little bit more in depth in a second. Okay. But it's also got a shopping list for you. It's got recipes library for you. Okay. So if you just try and look for all of it. So one thing with this, with the, so for each of the meals, it tells you what it is, how to make it. So it's got the exact ingredients, and what it actually has, if they've got it scheduled for you to eat that twice in 1 week, it'll actually give you the recipe to make 2 portions of it. Okay. So that way, you go, I'm making 2 portions. I don't have to make this twice throughout the week. I'll go a little bit more in depth about the meal plan and stuff, but you can also even order online. I'll be honest, the meals are fairly expensive if you want to order the meals. I think it's like $15 a meal.
Yeah, and we've had members, at least at our studios, ordered them in the past. It could have changed now, but had a little bit of issues with them. So I'm not trying to deter you from them, but just know you should order them in advance. And
They do have a new kitchen now. Yeah. So it should be better, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah. So fingers crossed will be better, but we say that's last resort. Okay. Because as I said, part of this is kind of teaching you better habits, learning how to cook, learning what the ingredients are. Okay. So getting used to some of the stuff that you're making, hopefully you can replicate those meals in the future. Okay. And then there's also a tracking component of it. So basically all you're going to do, it's got, one for your meals. It's got a thing for your training. Have you drunk enough water? Have you slept enough? And all it is, you're just going to kind of tick the boxes kind of thing. And it's just for accountability. Okay. See if you're doing all these positive things, because this is all about creating positive habits. Are you eating your consistent meals? Are you training consistently? Are you drinking enough fluid? Are you sleeping? Okay. So if you follow this, if you are checking this off, definitely recommend it, just so you don't kind of drift away. Right. It's always going to be in your head. Okay, I need to do these things. I need to tick this box. I need to tick this box. Okay. And then Learn's just got, some articles, very good to, just educate yourselves about it all. As I said, learning why you're doing what you're doing. So when this is all done, you kind of know what to keep on doing.
Do you want them to use the BMR?
Yeah, so I'll go through that in a sec.
Okay.
We'll go through. So now we'll talk about the nutrition aspect of it, okay, a little bit more detail. Basically, there's 4 phases of this challenge, and it doesn't actually change much. It's just about giving your focus, okay, so about education. So, when you're doing your group check-ins, the coaches probably touch on kind of these topics. The idea of this is that, we're not just kind of throwing random bits of information that to you and you kind of get overwhelmed with information. It's about having some sort of an organized flow of education. So you're kind of learning about different components of nutrition. Okay. So phase 1 is the spring phase. It's 10 days. Okay. Where basically it's just talking about sustainable eating, sleeping habits, you know, thinking about calorie deficits, all of that. Then there's the regular season. Okay, so incorporating the right balance of macronutrients. Okay, so thinking about macronutrients, right? Then phase 3 is the championship rounds. I don't know where they come up with these names. They don't mean anything. They just sound cool. So thinking about micronutrients and the benefits of what's going on inside your body. Make sure you're giving yourself the correct balance of nutrients to make sure that all those macronutrients can do the right things. Okay, and the final phase is just kind of bringing it all together. The World Series, how dramatic is that?
Baseball.
So that's just kind of bringing it all together. So the idea, you start with the simple topics and you talk about, you know, more in-depth topics, the macronutrients and micronutrients. Okay, so we'll share some of that information with you guys as we're going through those group check-in calls to actually, you know, educate you about that stuff. So, you know, you're learning why your meals look the way they look. Okay, so what are the components of it? Like, why is there fish in that, and why we've got all these vegetables, stuff like that. Okay, so really getting absorbed in this and kind of learning about the nutrition of it. All righty.
BMR.
Okay, so yeah, let's go on to the BMI. So basically, when it comes to the diet plan, obviously this is something which is worldwide, right? So they set a target which is universal, but we're all different, we're all individual. Okay, so this is how you can then slightly adapt the meals that they have there for you specifically. Okay, so the females' calorie targets are aiming around 1,300 calories per day. The males are targeted at 1,900 calories a day. Okay, but obviously everyone's a little bit different. So there's 2 ways that we're going to adjust this, and I'll explain how. The first way, okay, the second way is just my own personal formula, and this is just, I'm a dietitian if you don't know, so this is stuff that I do as well. But the first way is you're in a more standardized way that is on the Challenge app. So when you are on the, is it track?
It's
So,
under
yeah.
track.
In the track tab at the bottom, okay, up the top on the right, it says BMR calculator. Basically what you're going to do, you're going to click on the button that says calculate BMR. You'll say, what's your goal? What's your activity level? So activity level is kind of how active your day is. You put in your weight, your height, your date of birth, your gender. Okay, when you hit that, it'll give you your own, target calories. Okay, so what you're then going to do based on, if I'm a male, which I am, not if, since I'm a male, and the male target is 1,900 calories. So this told me I should be aiming for 1,500 calories. Okay. What I'm then going to do, adjust that. So if you're to say 1,500 calories is, 3/4 of 1,900 calories, you're just going to have 3/4 of the amount of portions of those meals. Okay. So just say it's asking for 5 ounces of chicken, let's say like 4 ounces. Okay,
So this actually adjusts it.
Yeah, so you can adjust depending on your activity level. So my 1,500 is if I were to have a sedentary lifestyle, if I have a light lifestyle or whatever. Okay. Another way you can do it, and this is from the stuff I know about, nutrition, anyone with body composition goals and anyone or any athletes, okay, protein targets set here are lower than what I believe to be beneficial, right? So just say you're a female and the target's 1,300 calories, but when you put it in your calculator, it says you should be eating 1,500 calories. Get those extra calories from just the protein. Add more of the protein, add more of the fish, add more of the chicken, add more of the protein powder, okay? Because that's, we can talk about it in depth later on when we're doing our calls, but protein is what makes muscles, okay? And protein doesn't make fat. So if we want to be more toned, if we want to decrease our fat, have more muscle, well then let's eat protein, okay? Because, it's safe. There is no research out there to show any negative health implications for high protein intakes, okay? You can be consuming 3 times your body weight in protein and there's nothing to indicate that anyone has gotten sick from it, Okay. So, you know, general rule of thumb for anyone, you know, trying to have athletic or body composition goals, up to like 2 grams per pound of lean body mass is a good target, okay, for that. So just say my lean body mass, if I'm say 15% body fat and I'm 170 pounds, my lean body mass might be like 150 pounds. I can eat up to 2 times that amount, so 300 grams in protein. Okay, that's a significant amount, and that's kind of what it takes if you want that body composition goal.
That's 9 whole chicken.
And that's what I eat basically.
9 whole chickens.
So if you aren't comfortable eating that much protein, that's completely fine. Go to that first method of just kind of like increasing every component, you know, by the same ratio, increasing by 1.2 times the amount. Okay. Here's my method of being able to identify your target calories. Okay. I always tell people to track what they're eating currently. Okay. Put into MyFitnessPal or something like that. Just log what you're eating over the next few days. Don't change what you're eating, okay? Because just say your weight is stable right now, all right? Then what you're eating to keep that weight stable is your maintenance calories, okay? So to lose weight, you need to eat less than your maintenance calories, okay? So if over the next 3 or 4 days, I'm putting into MyFitnessPal everything that I'm eating, all right? And it comes out the average over those 3 days is like 2,500 calories, and my weight's stable. That means if I eat less than that, I'm going to lose weight, okay? 100%. Right, so a good starting point, you know, 500 calories lower per day is a good target to be able to drop weight. I like to say make things progressive. So start maybe like 300 to 400 calories less, and after a couple of weeks, drop it to 500 calories less. After a couple of weeks, drop to 700 calories less. Okay, just so it's a more comfortable progression throughout the diet. All right. Have I lost anyone? As soon as we talked about nutrition, that's where I was like, what is going on?
Numbers we're using.
We got Carl, you got a question?
Yeah, just real quick. So I'm using the app here and I went ahead and did the BMR calculator. So that's just what my body naturally will consume. And then there's the sedentary to light to active, which ups those calorie intake, I guess, is my goal. So I have a sedentary job. It's you know, behind a desk, right? So, but if I'm working out, does that now make me more on as far as the activity level? Do I go to a light? Do I go to a moderate? How does that work?
So here's my thoughts on it, right? Do it as most of us do it as a sedentary thing. And for every workout you do, add say like 300 calories, okay? Because for one thing I know from all of these estimations is they overestimate, okay? So if you put in like I'm an active person, okay? A lot of people do that and it'll be like 2 times your BMR, right? Which might be like 3,000 calories. You go, oh, that's a lot of food. And it probably is too much, okay? So I tend to underestimate. So mostly choose the say sedentary or light category. And then for every workout you do, add about 300 calories as that's what you burnt off and that's what you should be aiming for. Okay, but with anything, right? So if you are consuming a certain amount of calories and you're not losing weight, even if this calculator is say that that's right for you, well, it's not. Eat less, okay? So at the end of the day, your body will dictate what you should be doing. If you're not losing weight, consume less. Or if you're losing weight, even though you're eating more food than it says, well, just stick with that. Perfect. Okay, so gauge your weight. I always say keep tracking your weight. Not so much of a, you know, I'm doing, you know, I'm a failure. I'm not losing weight. Use it as a way to go, okay, what should I be doing? How's my body responding? What should I be doing? Okay, obviously there's day-to-day fluctuation. It might change, you know, a couple of pounds in a day from fluid. All right, but look at trends over time. If after a week it hasn't dropped, then let's decrease. Okay.
And then make sure when you're doing that, just kind of how we talked about with the scans before, if you are doing your body weight and things at home, or even like things like measurements, you want to do them at the same time. Like if you're going to do them when you first wake up, that's when you're going to do them. So you can tell where this consistency is going to be. It's like you're going to be more consistent if you're doing it same time throughout the week. Morning, evening, morning's best.
Yeah, 100%. Get into a habit, you know, wake up and weigh yourself. You know, but don't be one of those people who's like,
Doing
you
it
know,
every day.
so hard on themselves and they're like, oh, I'm crap. And they just feel let down. Use it as a way of like tracking data. Alrighty, so let's look at a few little tips here. what if you cannot follow the meal plan exactly? Okay, the meal plan here is quite detailed. All right, you might have, this exotic fish meal with 40 different ingredients. All right, they taste delicious. If you have the time, make them. Okay, but what if you don't have the time, or what if you don't have all those ingredients? All right, think about the main ingredients of it. Okay, so in every meal there's a protein component, there's like a vegetable component, there's like a granny or a carb component of it. All right, think about those main components. They're the main things you want to focus on. Okay, if that means instead of 10 different vegetables, which is on the recipe, you just want to use a few different vegetables, go for that. If that means, instead of using a million different spices, what they say on the recipe, just use a couple of different spices. Or just say you don't have fish, switch out for chicken. Okay, so switch out, simplify the meals a bit. Think about the main components of that recipe and switch it out. Okay, switch a protein for a protein. Instead of having this vegetable, have this vegetable. Instead of having rice, have couscous, whatever. Okay, so switch out for a similar product, or just minimize the amounts, but still aim for the same portions. Okay, because it'll all balance out in the end, right? It might work out exactly, but at the end of the day, it doesn't need to be exact.
And I would say that would go. If you find a meal during that same week, you find a meal like Monday, you really like what that meal is, and then you look throughout the week and maybe like Tuesday, Thursday, you don't, you can make enough of that meal and use it throughout another day. So know that you can switch the meals like that as well, because within that week, they're all along that same calorie line. If you find something that you really like and you want to stick with that, that's okay to do.
Yeah.
And they also, like, sometimes they'll have you make your own spaghetti sauce and stuff like that. If you go to Trader Joe's or anywhere, you can find an organic spaghetti sauce that'll work. Like that kind of stuff. Like, you can simplify, use quality ingredients. Like, if you read the back of the label, make sure it's all stuff that's edible and not color dyes and stuff like that. That's going to help you save time too.
Exactly. Yeah. Over time, like what Jesse was saying, when you find the stuff that you like, they're all interchangeable, right? So just be like, fuck it, I'm going to eat this 7 days a week. Good on you. That's what I do.
We're creatures of habit. So if you find something you like, stick with it.
Yeah. Just take a little stress off your brain. Simplify stuff. What if you screw up on your diet? Okay, so here's a good tip that I like to give out, where, we don't always get things perfect. Sometimes, the weekend comes and we want to eat a meal out, something like that. That's not acceptable. You stick to the meal plan. No, if you can't always follow it exactly, well, this is where we got a plan B. We don't want to go into a destructive mindset of, I fucked that up, I'm going to keep fucking up, right? All right, there's always a way to compensate. I call this calorie compensation. If you overconsume at any period of time, underconsume in another period of time to balance it out. So at the end of the day, you're trying to get your exact meals right. You're trying to hit breakfast, lunch, and dinner, your snacks right. Okay. But if you go over in calories in one meal, so just say in your dinner meal is meant to be like 400 calories. If you eat 800 calories because you've eaten out, take that away somewhere else. Maybe skip a meal the next day, or maybe just have smaller meals the next day. Okay, if you're not tracking it exactly, just say you go out to eat, you look at the portion of the meal, just say it's twice the size of what it normally is, it's probably greasier. Okay, just guesstimate. So I probably had 3 times as many calories as I should have. I'm going to make up for that by cutting out a couple of meals or minimizing a couple of meals. Okay, so balance things out throughout the week. So just say you're aiming for 1900 calories a day. If you go over by 500 calories, still get your weekly targets right by getting that 500 calories less somewhere else. So at least over the week, you haven't fallen apart. Okay. Any other tips?
We had a question on there about shopping lists. So the challenge app does include that as well. So if you are going to follow the exact meal plan, they do have shopping lists.
Oh,
Amanda.
One thing to note with that, actually, glad you brought that up. The shopping list is, for those reasons, how they're quite extensive meals. It might be like in your shopping list, let's get oregano, and you use it once ever. Okay, so there are times, if you're getting the shopping list, all of it, well, then you're probably spending $500 at the grocery store. Okay, so just kind of gauge if you want to spend a little bit less, kind of just focus on the main things that you're going to consume.
There's some weird Australian ingredients in there too that I don't think they even sell
here.
Oh, so like capsicum is peppers. Okay, in case you didn't know. My missus, she didn't follow this exactly to a T, and she's like, walking around the grocery store trying to find stuff, and it's not here. It is here, but it's got a different name. So maybe look up if you don't know the name of something, what it is, and it'll tell you what the American name is.
And we already hit on this, but when you look at the grocery list, it's like, whoa,
It's insane.
it's insane. It can be overwhelming. So don't look at it and be like, oh my gosh, this is so much stuff to get. How we say, like, simplify it. If you know the things that you like to have with chicken and how you like to season things, like, use that seasoning. And then if you want to, like, I'm going to try something different, then just pick a few. But when you look at it, it's going to have like one meal and like 15 seasonings and all this stuff. No, you don't have to get all those things.
Yeah.
Right. And when you go into the individual meal, it will give you the ingredients that you need for that meal.
Mhm.
So you can almost pick and choose like
Mhm.
what your grocery
you
list look like. If you want to cut out a meal, then you can cut those items out of the
Mhm.
shopping list.
And, you know, with this, how, you know, this might be all overwhelming, but think of this as one second. Think of this as something where you're learning over time. You know, use the first couple of weeks to fuck up. Okay, if you don't get things exactly right, that's fine. Just improve over time. Because don't be hard on yourself. Don't go, oh, this is so much, right? These meals taking so long to make. Okay, it took a long time this week. How can I make it quicker? How can I simplify things a bit more? Or, all right, maybe I went over my calories today, or, you know, I didn't quite get my portions right. That's fine. You know, make the adjustments. Don't be hard on yourself and then bail out, right? You're learning new things here, and you never pick up new things in your first day, right? We weren't perfect at working out on our first day. It took a while. Okay, so don't be hard on yourself. Just think of this as a learning experience. Question?
So it doesn't show like the full macro breakdown on the app. Is that correct?
Per in the meals, it'll show you the macro breakdown.
Well, like based off your total calories, it won't.
No, so that's what I mean.
You can just adjust.
Number one thing, my recommendation, just increase the protein.
Yeah.
The other way is just increase each individual component by percentage, and then just kind of your macros will just be like multiplied on that.
Because I guess if you pick the meals that they have, then they kind of just already align the macros how you think you should. So I guess you can curve it off of that. Because
Yeah, so it'll be the same. If you're increasing or decreasing, it'll be the same macros as they got, same macro ratio.
yeah.
So yeah, but like I said, just increase your protein. All right, so I want to go through just like a little bit of a goal setting strategy here. This is something I like doing with a lot of people. As I said, one of the number one things that screws up in this is that our inability to finish. Okay, so a big part of that is being very clear with your goals, having some stuff in place which is going to make you 100% succeed. Okay, so I want you to actually do this. All right, this might sound stupid, and you might think that this is just something that, you know, you hear Tony Robbins talk about and all that. Having some sort of morning routine where you think about your goals, write down your goals, be very clear on your goals, and write it in the sense of I am or whatever. Okay, so I weigh 150 pounds and of 10% body fat. Okay, so write down what you're going to be at the end of the 45 days. Might not just be your physical goals, but write down any goals really, because as soon as you do one positive thing with your life, you're probably going to do other stuff. So say where you're at the end of the 45 days and say you're actually there. Your body will register that as you're already there. Okay?
Manifest.
Exactly. It will manifest. The thing you think about over and over again, you become. If you do this every single morning, you read over it every single morning, okay, then it will start to become that way, right? And then you're going to visualize that. So I want you to also think about those goals, okay? So I weigh 140 pounds at 10% body fat. Write down some of the habits that are going to get you that way, all right? And be clear with that as well, all right? Being detailed. So examples, I wake up at 6 a.m. every Monday to Friday. I work out at 7 a.m. every Monday, Friday, okay? I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I eat 2 snacks, okay? I'm not rushed when I eat. I make it important to me. I sit down and have it. Or on the weekends, I still get up at 8 a.m. I make a healthy breakfast before I do something physically active, okay? I allow myself to have a slightly flexible lunchtime, but I'm going to make up for that by eating a little bit less later on. Okay, so say some very clear, detailed, step-by-step strategies that are going to make you become that person you need to be. Because over time, you will adopt these habits. Everything is a result of habits. What you do every day, you will become. Okay, so tell yourself what you're going to do every day. Tell yourself what you're going to become, and then eventually you will get there. Okay, stupid as it sounds, this is so significantly life-changing. What I've done with a lot of the people that I coach have done, okay, be consistent, do this every morning for 2 weeks. Okay, I'll also want you to have some images, okay, a visualization map, right? Images of what you want to look like, where you want to be. Maybe it's a future house or something. Maybe it's someone with your ideal body. Okay, imagine yourself in that place. Be very clear on it. Feel the things that are around you. Smell the things that you can smell. Hear the things that you can hear. Be in that place over time. You register your body and your mind will register it as it actually happened. Okay, and then it will become that. Okay, so I want you guys to do that. Write down your goals. Write down the habits that is going to make you get to that goal. Have some images every single morning for at least 2 weeks. Read over that. Okay. By the way, I'll send you through all this information via email. All right.
Also, you can add to that too. So if you have a week, you're like, okay, well, I didn't stick to these habits that I said I was going to. Why did I not stick to this habit? What can I do to stick to this habit next week? So you're able to add on to things like that. I'm big on this. I do this every morning too. And it's like, there's some reason I haven't reached that. I'm like, okay, I did this, but this is why I didn't reach this. And then I'm going to fix this next week. So adding that in really helps and kind of helps that manifestation too. Kind of puts it out there in the universe.
Yeah.
And we'll be checking in on you on those check-ins too. So if you guys have that stuff for us, like that's going to be our first check-in for sure.
Yeah.
Sure we have
But like, have you written that down? No? Okay.
And if you can't figure it out and you need help, that's a time when we go back to the asking questions. It's like, I'm just not able to hit my calories, or I feel like I'm overeating. Like, okay, what can we do to help? What do we need to adjust?
Yeah. So I think that's all I've got.
That's great.
Anything else?
Good. No.
All right, now let's open it up to the floor. Any questions? Oh yeah, let's give us a clap. Anyone got any questions? Yep.
There was something that said we're getting heart rate monitors. Is that something?
Yeah, so whoever doesn't have a heart rate monitor, I'm glad you
Do
brought
we
that
wear
up.
that just workouts, or is that
So we just give it out, part of it, but we won't technically be able to use it because it syncs up with these screens up here. So since we've been working out outside, then it doesn't sync up with it. But yes, we will give it out when we do our scans and our photos and everything. We'll give it to you then.
Does it sync with an app?
So no, if you've got an iPhone 6, it does. Apparently, I reached out to him. But yeah, it syncs up with this, and what actually happens during your workouts, it registers your heart rate, and give you like points and stuff like that, and it sends you an email afterwards to let you know kind of.
It's really quick too. It's like within 5 minutes you get done and you have this email.
Yeah.
And Sanitas will.
There's no signal extender for you to get from there to there.
I mean, what do you want from me there? No, the hard thing is as well, because these class has to be playing. See, ladies, this class has to be playing for it to register that class is on. So we have to like start this, and our workouts don't always exactly line up with this stuff. I mean, just.
We're going live on our Instagram, and there was someone that asked if you can still sign up for the challenge. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Send us a
You can
message.
sign up for the Poinsettia Challenge 100%. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. With our studio, I'll let you know when the scanner is going to be here. Okay. And then we'll organize when you're going to come in for those.
Yeah, and we also recorded this on video, so we'll send it to Jason, and then you guys can have it as well. So if you want to look back over the video, you can do that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Thanks. Okay, love you. Bye.